welcome to today's video. I'm Anna and I'm going to be taking you through a Vinyasa flow today. So we're going to jump straight into it. Props wise, if you're more of a beginner or new to yoga, then perhaps grab a couple of blocks if you have them, but otherwise no need, and we'll get started. Okay, we're going to start in a standing position today, and we're going to take a little bit of free or intuitive movement. So for some people this can be a little bit uncomfortable because I'm not going to tell you exactly what to do, but if you feel a little bit awkward about it, you can just kind of copy along what I'm doing. So take a little bit of a wide stance with the feet, and we're just going to start to bounce through the knees and really just taking any movement that feels nice just for the first few minutes. So it actually doesn't matter what this looks like. You might like to shake the body, perhaps come up onto one leg. Perhaps it's more of a sweeping type motion that you'd like to take. Coming down over the legs, coming up. Or what you're doing might look quite different to what I'm doing. And it's really nice just to incorporate a little bit of free movement into your practice. Otherwise, it can always look very structured and you're always following along what someone else is doing, which is nice. But this is a really good way to actually just feel out the body and go with what feels good for you. It's also kind of creative, and I found that when I first started doing this stuff, I felt really uncomfortable and a bit awkward to do this. But the more you do it, the more that you feel okay with perhaps looking a bit silly and all of that. Okay? And if you're at home, chances are you might well be alone anyway, or doing this with someone that you know. So it's all good. Okay. If you find yourself getting stuck into sort of one pattern of movement, see if you can change it up a little bit. Maybe go back with the body if you're always going forward into bends. Awesome. All right, starting to slow it down and come back to standing. Nice work. My mat is always sliding away on this carpet. Okay, nice. So already my heart rate is a little bit up, my breathing is a little bit up. So it's a nice, like, fun way just to bring some energy into the body and get ready to add a little bit more intensity to our movement too. All right, so keeping that wide stance with the feet and a little bit of a bend through the knees, we're going to swing from side to side. So here, actually, the movement is coming from the hips and the torso rather than leading with the arms. The arms are just kind of coming along for the ride. Nice. So as we're starting with these sort of gentle movements, starting to bring some awareness to the breath. So the breath is really important as we move through the practice, not only to start to focus the attention of the mind, but also to communicate with the nervous system throughout the practice that we're safe and that we can move into a variety of ranges of motion without the nervous system panicking and holding us back. Nice. Coming to back to stand. All right, this time I'm going to reach up with the hands and then coming up onto the tippy toes. So starting to balance a little bit, coming up onto the balls of the feet. And then sweeping down over the legs and let the arms sweep down beside. Okay, so a bend in the knees, back up onto the toes. Nice to combine this with the exhale. So inhaling, come up, exhale, sweep down. One more. Nice. Okay, taking a little bit more into the upper body. So taking one arm out in front with the palm facing in, and then the other hand down beside you. Then sweeping that right arm back as the left arm comes down as well. Okay, so with this one, the palm faces in as the hand comes forward and then turns out as the hand comes behind. This should actually feel quite natural for the hand to turn. So with this one, try not to overthink it too much, or it starts to become difficult. And if you're really not grasping it, then just try doing one arm first and then the other, okay? And then incorporating both. Okay, and reverse. So the movement is coming from the shoulders rather than swinging the arms or really rotating the torso too much. Beautiful. And coming back to rest. Okay, from here let's take a little bit into the wrists. So just taking some wrist circles. Might like to take the hands into fists or keep the fingertips wide. And then we'll start to bring the hands up overhead and shake down. Reversing the direction, so the way that feels a bit weird usually. That was my shoulder. Shake it down. And one more time, all the way up. This time let's open out the hands and come into fists. And then starting to take that a little bit faster. You can feel this pretty much straight away working into the forearms and right down even into the shoulder. Perhaps that's where I feel it. And in the fingertips as well. Whew. And shake it down. Okay, nice. Let's take, I'm going to fix my mat again, and let's take some hip circles. Okay, so taking a comfortable stance with the feet and taking some nice wide circles with the hips. This is always a good one if someone walks in right now and they're like, what are you doing? And the other way. Awesome. And coming back to neutral. Okay, let's move into the lower body a little bit more. Bend through the knees, take the hands to the knees, and taking some circles here. So with this one, get the feet and the ankles involved as well. So as you come round, moving on to the various edges of the feet. Yep, so weight in the balls of the feet, sides, heels, and then the outside. And changing direction. Nice. Okie doke. Coming back to stand. Taking the hands to the hips coming up onto, so weight in the left foot and taking the right foot off, taking the leg back with a bend in the knee. We're just going to take some swings. Yep, so if you need to hold on to the wall or something here for a bit of balance, then you can do that. And it doesn't matter if you can't get your leg too high. It's not really about that. It's about starting to mobilize into the hip. Okay? Swapping sides. Right foot plants. Left leg comes up. Losing my balance here. Nice, coming down. Awesome. All right, just a little bit into the ankles. Bending through the knees again. Plant into the left foot, come up on off the right. Point the foot and flex. Point and flex. Awesome. And now take some full circles in one direction and then back the other way. Other side, plant the right foot, point the left, point, flex, point, flex. Okay, and circles. And back the other way. Awesome. Okay, so we've moved into the body, we've warmed up, we've got the joints warm as well, and now we're going to move into a flow. So today, coming to the front of your mat, or one of the fronts, okay, taking a comfortable stance with the feet and just checking for any areas of unneeded tension. So checking the jaw is soft, shoulders are soft, glutes are soft. Okay, nothing needs to be switched on just yet while we're standing here. All right, now we're going to come into a chair pose. Inhale, sweeping the arms up, bend through the legs. Now we're getting a bit active, pressing the big toes down into the floor and keeping the torso upright. We're not coming too low over the knees. Take the hands behind, clasping behind the back if you can, otherwise just reaching back with the hands. We're going to take a gaze out to the left, just watching the knees stay in alignment. Back through center, out to the right. Beautiful. Back through center. Hands come down to the floor. Let's take a halfway lift, so lengthening through the spine. Legs are straight if you can. Pressing down actively with the feet. Plant the hands, stepping back to our plank position. I'm going to take knees for the first one. You might like to do the same. Dropping the knees, rock the weight forward, chest and chin down towards the mat. Pressing back up, rocking back into a child's pose, but gazing forward, toes are tucked. And now keep a bend in the elbows, sweeping through to a cobra. Tops of the feet pressing into the floor. Hands pressing into the mat and just lifting up till the belly button is almost about to come away. Pressing down, tuck the toes under, pressing all the way back, downward dog. Okay, let's take a bit of a dynamic downward dog here. Walking the legs, perhaps walking the heels down one at a time. Could take the legs side to side. Really, again, this is your intuitive, free movement in this position. Okay, you might like to take a little bit of a spinal wave. Really just moving through here. and exploring. Okay, preparing to come forward. Getting a little bit bouncy in the feet. You can just take a step or a walk, or you could take a hop. Take that halfway lift. Exhale, fold over the legs, bend through the knees, sweep the arms back up into that chair pose, and exhale, back to stand. Beautiful. Let's go again. Fix all my wires here. Okay, inhale. Nice and low into that squat. Active through the legs. Hands come behind. Let's take it out to the right first this time. Check in the knees. Back through center, out to the left. Unclasp, hands come down. Halfway lift, so fingertips to the shins or to the floor, but remember whichever position to keep that length through the spine. Getting springy through the legs, preparing to step or hop back to that plank position. This time we'll try from the toes, or always the option to repeat from the knees. Rock a bit of weight forward, gripping with the fingertips. To our push-up, press back up to plank, back to that modified child's pose, and then sweeping through. This time let's press up to upward facing, strong through the legs, and then exhale all the way back to our downward dog. Okay, options here to take just a static downward dog, or again to move and take that beautiful, intuitive movement whilst continuing to find that even, calm breath. Inhale and exhale through the nose if you can. Okay. Preparing to come forward. So getting springy in the legs. Step or hop the feet forward. Halfway lift. Folding down. In the forward fold, active through the legs, pressing with the big toe into the floor. Inhale, sweep the arms into chair. Exhale, back to stand. One more like that. Inhale. Exhale, hands behind. Out to the left. Back to center. Gaze out to the right. Back to center. Hands down. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Prepare to step or hop back to plank. Exhale, chaturanga, push up, press back up in one straight line, all the way back, touch the knees, sweep the body through. Upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Lovely. So options for this one, static or our moving downward dog, or this time you might like to take dolphin. Coming down onto the forearms. If you're feeling it and you have forearm stand or pincher in your practice, then you might like to come up to pincher. Or you could take one leg up and then the other and just play around here as well. So options there. Lovely. Let's all come back to downward facing. And here, active through the legs. With the arms, we're going to activate through the upper body by imagining you're turning the hands away from each other. Okay, so that feeling. Obviously they're not going anywhere, but that's the feeling to activate all the way up through the arms and the shoulders. Beautiful. Let's prepare to come forward. Springy through the legs, step hop or walk. Halfway lift, folding down. Inhale, back through chair. Exhale. Beautiful. Moving into our next sun salutation with a little bit of an add-on. Same start. Inhale. Exhale, hands behind. Open out to the right. Back through center, out to the left. Back through center, release the hands. Forward fold. Halfway lift, length through the spine. Press the hands, step or hop the feet back to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Press back up. This time, if you can, just hover the knees here without planting them down. And now sweep through using the upper body and coming all the way into upward facing. Exhale, all the way back to down dog. Right leg sweeps up. Let's bend the knee, open the hip, and now step that knee, that foot all the way between the hands, if you can, without lifting this right hand up, okay? Which means we really need to compress. Pull the knee into the chest and step it. If you couldn't get it there, you can use the hand to bring it through. And then coming up to crescent lunge, so staying on the ball of that back foot, open out through the chest. Hands plant, frame the foot. Okay, coming back the same way we went. So pressing as much as you can into the floor with the hands. Lift the knee into the chest. Send it back. Plant the foot. Push up. Straight back up. Again, hover the knees if you can. If you need to place them down, place them down. Otherwise, sweeping through. Upward facing. Exhale. Downward facing. Left leg sweeps. Open the hip. Plant the foot. Press the knee into the chest. Foot comes through. Inhale. Exhale. Open out through the chest. Cactus arms. Frame the foot. Press the ground away. Knee to chest. Send it back. Chaturanga push-up. Back to our active child's pose. And then sweeping through. Upward facing. Exhale. Downward facing. Ooh, find the breath. Preparing to come forward, getting springy through the legs, walk, step or hop. Halfway lift, folding forward, bend through the knees, exhale. Well done. We have 2 more of those. Let's go. Inhale. Exhale, hands behind. Out to the left this time. Back through center, out to the right. Back through center. Plant the hands, fold forward, halfway lift. Prepare to come back. Plank. Chaturanga push-up. Active child's pose and sweep it through. All the way back to downward facing. Let's do the left leg first this time. Change it up. Left leg lifts. Open the hip. Step it all the way through, between the hands. Inhale, arms come up, open out through the chest. Frame the foot, knee into the chest, send it back. This time, if you want an extra challenge, hover the foot off, one-legged push-up. Active child's pose, and sweep through. Back to downward facing. Right side, right leg lifts, open the hip, step it through. Crescent lunge. Frame the foot, knee to chest. Option for one-legged push-up. Active child's pose, sweep it through. Exhale, downward facing. If you need a rest, we have a few more breaths here, can drop down to a child's pose, okay? But if you can manage it, we'll stay up in downward facing. Any wrist issues, just coming down into dolphin. Let's prepare to come forward, springy through the feet, and step or hop forwards. Halfway lift, take the fold, inhale up through chair, exhale. Last one. Inhale. Hands behind. Out to the right. Watching the knees and the hips aren't shifting. Center, out to the left. Back through center. Drop the hands. Halfway lift. Step or hop the feet. Chaturanga push-up. Active child's pose, sweeping through. Right leg lifts, open through the hip, step it forwards. Crescent lunge. Frame the foot, knee to the chest, one-legged push-up. Active child's, sweep it through. Left side. Knee to chest. Step it through, crescent lunge. Plant the hands. One-legged push-up. Active child's, sweep it through. Upward facing. Exhale. Downward facing, and find the breath. Slow it down. Pressing the hands into the mat and rotating away from each other. Big toes pressing firmly down. Prepare to come forward, springy through the legs. Halfway lift and fold. Inhale through chair. Exhale, stand. Okay, taking a wide step out to the side now into sort of a wide-legged position. We don't want to be too wide, okay? So a good sort of general rule of thumb is if you take the hands out with the palms flexed out, then that's sort of where you want your feet to be as a general guide. Okay, so taking the feet slightly out, so they're splayed, and we're going to start to just move down into a squat and then coming back up, okay? So let's take the hands to the hips and coming back up, just exploring the depth. Hands can come out in front if that's more comfortable. Okay, on this one, we're going to hold. So get a little bit comfy. We're going to hold for 60 seconds. Sprung that one on you. But come as low as you can, okay, to get through the minute, rather than coming as low as you can. Yep, this is great, but only being able to hold there for 10 seconds. If you do come too low and you do need to come out a little bit, then do so. But we're halfway through now, so push yourself a little bit. Sometimes this is a great movement to do. It's called horse stance in sort of the movement world, where you pop a stick or like a dowel here and you have to keep it there. So can't roll off. So imagine that you've got that stick there, okay? That's how low we want to be for 10 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful work. Coming up. Woo, feel that in the hips already and the glutes. We're going to start to move from side to side, starting out in a lateral lunge. So just, keeping fairly high. Starting to feel this out. And then option, either keep going here, or we can deepen this into a Cossack or a skandasana lunge, okay? So it might not come this deep, but just exploring that range, coming up onto the heel of the straight leg. Keeping the upper body as upright as you can. Okay, so we're not leaning forward if we can avoid it. If you need to use the hands, that's perfectly okay. Use the hands for support and to give you a little bit of a push back up. But trying to use them as little as possible, if you can, to start to really build that strength in the legs. If this is super easy for you, try and stay low in the middle. So we're coming through that low squat. Awesome. Couple more. And let's meet back in that wide-legged position. Nice work. Heel toe in, coming all the way down into a squat. Okay, taking modifications here if you need. If the heels don't come down, you can have the heels up, maybe put some padding, blanket or something underneath. Just a couple of things in the squat to watch for. Sometimes we might get knees rolling in and collapsing through the ankles, so just knees tracking out, strong through the ankles. So the toes might splay out or straight forward. It really just depends on your anatomy. If you have like wider hips like me, then it can feel nicer to have splayed feet, but just feel it out. Okay. Another thing we want to avoid is collapsing through the back. So nice long spine. Beautiful. So you're either going to stay here and work on your squat, okay? Just holding, coming out if you need, coming back in. Or have a little play with crow. So that's where hands are going to come down to the mat. We're going to try 2 different variations of crow. Squeezing, first one, we're going to bend the elbows, squeeze the outside of the triceps. Weight starts to come forward into the hands, gaze is down, don't look back underneath you or we'll somersault. Then you can play around here, just loading the arms, perhaps lifting one foot, lifting the other, or you could try floating the feet. Okay? So, playing around there. Try, if you're getting up into the balance, see if you can hold between sort of 5 and 20 seconds. So option to keep playing with that one, or the prep, where we just load the arms, feet stay on the ground. Or you might like, if you want to challenge yourself, those ones are easy and you want to progress, to straight armed crow. Okay, so that's where, okay, this is quite a lot on the wrists, so just keep that in mind. Hands come down. The knees are going to come as high into the armpits as possible. Okay, and they're more in the armpits rather than on the outside this time. Okay, loading, 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 and lift. Okay, beautiful. So we'll keep working on those ones in different videos. Arm balances are hard. They require balance and strength and coordination. So something to work on, okay? All right, sitting down onto your bottom. Whoops. Bringing the soles of the feet out in front of you onto the floor. Support yourself with hands behind and just taking some side to sides with the knees. Okay, if you want a bit more of a challenge, we take the hands away. Beautiful. All right, soles of the feet coming to the mat, hands out beside or holding onto the back of the legs, and we roll down for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. All right, a few final finishing poses for this class today. Let's take the knees in towards the chest and then taking the soles of the feet up to the ceiling, holding on to the outer edges and then pressing the knees back in towards you. We're going to activate this pose by pressing the feet into the hands whilst pulling back. Let's hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a nice inhale and exhale, relax, and you might find that you can bring the knees a little bit further towards the floor. Letting go, feet come back down. Let's take a little twist here. So, knees come in and taking the hands out to tabletop or to a cactus position, and then starting to bring the knees over to the left to start and gazing back over the right. If you want to add on, you could hook that right leg over the left. Maybe even taking that hand, left hand to the legs. And coming back out. Over to the right this time. Hook the leg if you want to, left over right. And coming out. Unhook the legs if they're hooked. Back to center. Feet come down. Rest the hands down beside you. Let's take a couple of moments in relaxation. So either coming down to lie on the back in savasana, or if you feel like you will go back to sleep doing this, or you want to stay a bit more awake, if this is definitely the morning or something, middle of the day, then take a seated relaxation. Taking a letting go breath, inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. And fully allow the floor to hold you, letting go of any tension in the body. Nice deep breaths. Feel that work, that heat in the body. By all means, staying here for as long as you like or can. Otherwise, starting to move a little bit into fingers and toes. Bringing the knees in towards the chest, hugging them in, rolling over to one side, pressing back up to a seated position, or if you're already there, we'll meet you there. Taking one hand over the other. Thanking yourself for making some time to move your body, to connect. Thank you so much for joining me. Enjoy the rest of your day, and please like and subscribe to my channel to support me to grow. And thank you so much. See you next time. Bye.